Do you hate that feeling when you lose to overleveled players even though you're genuinely better than them? This is something every Clash Royale player faces at some point in their journey. You log in, you queue a game, and boom, you're up against a guy with level 15 cards while you're still at level 11 or 12. It feels unfair, right? In this video, I'll show you exactly how to beat higher level opponents even when you're underleveled. I'll also cover what decks to play, what playstyles to use, and the mistakes you absolutely need to avoid. I will then reveal the top 5 best free-to-play cards to be using versus overleveled players so you can finally win. By the end of this video, you'll be winning games you thought were impossible. Let's get right into it. Part 1. Mindset and game plan. The very first thing you need when you're underleveled is the right mindset. A lot of people see higher level cards and instantly kill. They're like, dude, this guy's level 15 Mega Knight, I cannot win. The second you think like that, you have already lost. Being underleveled doesn't mean you're doomed. It just means you need to play smart. Your opponent is relying on brute force and card levels, and you have to just rely on skill and outplay. So what does playing smart actually mean? Your game plan should revolve around these 3 pillars. 1. Outcycling. This is always about having the answer ready before they can get back to their win condition. Let's say you're running cannon against the hog rider. If you cycle faster than they do, you'll always have your cannon back in cycle before their next hog. This just means they cannot break through no matter how overleveled their hog is. Imagine your opponent has an overlevel hog, you have a low level cannon. If you just play slow and trade pushes, they're gonna eventually overwhelm you. But if you cycle skeletons, ice spirit, and the musketeer in your 2.6 hog cycle deck, you're gonna be back to cannon and their hog can never break through. They simply cannot touch your tower. This applies for offense as well. If you're gonna have a hog and they have a cannon on defense, you gotta make sure you cycle your cheap pesky cards so you can get back to your hog and cycle past their counter to your hog. This is very key. Number 2. Defending efficiently. When your cards deal less damage or have less HP, you cannot afford sloppy defenses. Every elixir point matters. You should always ask yourself, how can I stop this push with the least amount of elixir possible? Cheap cards like the skeletons, ice spirit, or knight become your best friends. These cards can neutralize even overleveled troops if you play them correctly. It's not about killing everything instantly. It's about controlling the match and stretching their push across the map as you have both the towers supporting, which is key when you're underleveled. Imagine there's a level 15 Mega Knight that comes down at the bridge. You just gotta be calm as an underleveled player and use your ice golem and then cannon to finish. This can apply with a variety of decks, but this is the basic premise. Try to defend as efficiently as possible and try to get as much value with your arena towers in the right situations. Once you defend the Mega Knight with the cannon and the ice golem, that's gonna be only 5 elixir against 7, but you've defended cleanly and kept the cards back in cycle, which is gonna get your win condition to the enemy's tower very quickly. Number 3. Punishing mistakes. Here's a big one. Higher level players often rely on their levels to carry them, which makes them super lazy. They'll usually overspend on defense or drop a heavy card in the back without even thinking. That's your green light to punish. If they spend an 8 elixir golem or a 7 elixir lava hound in the back, pressure the opposite lane with your win condition. They have to scramble now and overspend, and you take the tempo. They won't have enough elixir to defend properly and you'll get damage for absolutely free. The key here is identifying elixir overspending and punishing them on offense. Here's a bonus tip. Think of it like this. They're smashing checkers pieces while you're just playing chess and slowly building that advantage over time. You don't need to out damage them in one singular trade. All you gotta do is make sure you chip, defend, and play the long game. When you're underleveled, small advantages add up over time. Every time you defend for 1 or 2 elixir cheaper, that's a hidden win. Do this 5 or 6 times and you're suddenly ahead, and that's gonna get you the damage which you really need up against these overleveled players. Before we move on to the next card, make sure to like and hype the video and join the Discord group, which is linked in the description of this video, where we talk about everything. Part 2. Deck building for the underleveled players. This is the part where most underleveled players make their biggest mistake, trying to level up too many decks at once. Don't be upgrading a little bit of golem, a little bit of lava hound, a little bit of hog, because that makes none of your decks strong enough to play on ladder. Here's the truth. If you spread your gold and wild cards across 4 or 5 decks, you will always be behind. The smartest thing you could do is pick one deck, stick with it, and funnel every single resource you have into maxing it out. Think of it like investing. Would you rather throw $5 into 10 different stocks and see no growth, or drop it all into one that actually compounds and pays off? Clash Royale decks work the same exact way when you're underleveled. So which deck should you actually pick? The key is finding something cheap to upgrade, reliable in every single matchup, and easy to stick with for a long term. Let's break down the best options. Number 1. 2.6 classic hog cycle. Almost every card in this deck is a common or a rare card. Skeletons, cannon, ice spirit, and the musketeer can be constantly found from lucky drops, making them super convenient to max out. This deck is simple enough for beginners to use but has a high skill ceiling. You'll never outgrow this this deck because as you improve, the deck scales with your skill. The whole idea with this deck is to get as much damage as you can with the hog and try to cycle fast your skeletons, ice spirit, and the log, and keep the cannon and the musketeer ready for defense, and the counterattack is gonna be insane. Try to sneak in the hog when they overspend because that's gonna get you the damage you're looking for. Even though you're under leveled, this deck has the chip damage factor which adds up, making it a very good deck to have. Number 2, Hog Earthquake. This is like the modern cousin of 2.6 Hog Cycle, but instead of relying on just cycle, you have the Earthquake to punish buildings. The Earthquake levels up pretty quickly because it's a rare card and it's brutal against the cannon and Tesla, and these cards you see a lot on ladder. This deck teaches a lot of fundamental skills like cycling quick, spell timing, and the value of chip damage. Imagine your opponent defends your hog with an overlevel bomb tower. Normally that would stop you cold, but with Hog Earthquake, you just earthquake the building and your hog gets you that hit when you desperately need it and chips the tower at the same time as well. In double elixir time, when you simply cannot break through with hog, try to get chip damage with your cracker and cycle earthquakes to finish off the game. This makes Hog Earthquake one of the safest investments for an underlevel player. Number 3, Log Bait. This deck shines because it punishes mistakes, man. If they misplay their log or arrows just once, your Goblin Barrel is going to do massive amounts of damage. Most cards in this deck are commons or rares, and the Goblin Gang Night Barrel are super easy cards that you can upgrade. The real value in Log Bait is that it teaches you spell bait fundamentals. It teaches you how to track rotations and force out your opponent's key cards. These skills can be transferred into every other deck you decide to pick in Clash Royale, which is very important for you to beat overlevel players. Imagine you realize that your opponent has a log in their deck. You need to force it out with the Princess or Goblin Gang at the bridge by applying pressure. This in turn frees up your Goblin Barrel, and even if it's at a low level, it's still gonna get you damage if they can't respond to it properly. Number 4, Control decks. Speed Miner or Graveyard Control. These decks are perfect for defensive players. All you gotta do is sit back, shut down their big pushes, and then counterattack with your surviving troops. If you look at Graveyard decks, these cards don't rely much on levels because they bring utility. Baby Dragon does the splash damage, Tornado for control, and Mega Minion's usually used in control decks for air DPS. These decks are great for learning patience. You won't win with one big push usually. You'll usually win by slowly chipping them out and then counterattacking. This is a bonus tip. I'm gonna tell you what to avoid. Avoid heavy beatdown decks like the Golem or Lava Hound or P.E.K.K.A decks or even Mega Knight decks. Why? Because when you're underleveled, your tank simply melts, dude. A low-level Golem into a high-level mini P.E.K.K.A, guess what's gonna happen? Your Golem is gone. That's like 8 elixir wasted for no reason. With cycle or control decks, you can always get value regardless of levels. One of the biggest tips I can give you is commit to one deck for at least 100 games. By the end of the grind, not only will your card levels be stronger, but your mechanics with that deck will skyrocket. You'll know exactly how to defend, when to attack, and how to outcycle. That's how you win even when the numbers aren't in your favor. Part 3, Playstyle Adjustments for the underlevel player. Now let's talk about the playstyle adjustments. This is where the underlevel player can actually flip matchups. You cannot play the same way the max player does. You need to approach every game differently. Here are 5 key adjustments that will change the way you play and beat overlevel players consistently. Number 1, learn to leak elixir smartly. When you're an underlevel player, you cannot spam the bridge the second you hit 10 elixir. Higher level players are waiting for you to do that. Instead, let your elixir max out sometimes and wait for their move. That way you get to react instead of walking right into their stronger cards. Imagine you're at 10 elixir and your opponent is sitting at the back. Don't panic and throw your hog into their full bar. Wait for until they drop their Mega Knight or Royal Giant, or let them play first. Now you know where to defend and you'll have elixir saved up for the counterattack. Think of this as the controlled patience. You're not exactly wasting elixir, you're baiting them to move first, which is gonna help you in the long term. Number 2, play more in the opposite lane. One of the biggest adjustments you can make as an underlevel player is to avoid feeding into their pushes. If they drop a level 15 golem in the back, don't push into that lane. You're asking to get steamrolled. Instead, pressure the opposite lane. This forces them to split their elixir and stops them from building a massive push, which you cannot stop. Imagine your opponent drops a Lava Hound on the left lane. Instead of defending passively and letting them stack a balloon and minions behind it, you want to go opposite lane with your hog plus ice spirit if that's what you're running. Now they cannot fully commit to their push and you buy time to defend. This is how you keep games winnable, by splitting the map and not letting them focus everything in one lane. Number 3, value traits over damage races. When your cards are weaker, you simply will not win in a straight up race. If you both throw pushes at the same time, their higher level troops will simply win the damage race. So instead think, how can I get more value out of my cards? That might mean letting the miner chip you out for 200 damage if you can save your cards and take that elixir advantage and make a bigger push which can overwhelm your enemy. Number 4, focus on tower chip damage through spell cycling. When you're underleveled, sometimes your win condition alone won't be enough. That's when spells come into play. Fireball, log, zap, earthquake, poison. These are just not defensive passive tools. They're part of your win condition. Every time you get spell values on troops, try to clip the tower too. By the end game, you should be thinking, can I spell this guy out and finish the tower? For example, if you're running Hog Earthquake versus Bomb Tower, you don't need the Hog to always connect. The Earthquake by the end game should help you chip away, and combine that with small spells and you'll eventually spell cycle them out, which is exactly what you need to do sometimes. Number 5, extend the match into overtime. As an underleveled player, the longer the game goes, the more advantage you gain. In early game, their card levels can really overwhelm you, but if you survive into double or triple elixir time, your cycle and skill becomes a lot more important than their card stats. For example, if you're running Hog 2.6 up against a level 15 or a maxed out Mega Knight deck, the first minute is gonna be super rough. You're just defending non-stop, but once you hit double elixir time, you can outcycle their counters twice as fast. That's when you can chip them down and steal the game. So when you're criminally underleveled, your playstyle should revolve around surviving the first 2 minutes and thriving in overtime. That's where the underleveled players turn games around. Part 4, mistakes to avoid. Now let's talk about the biggest mistakes I see underleveled players making all the time. And here's the thing, if you just fix these, you'll start to win games a lot more often. Number 1, overcommitting on offense. A huge mistake underleveled players make is going all in with the giant push. You spend 10 elixir dropping Hog, Musketeer, Fireball, and then what happens? They defend with 2 higher level cards, spend less elixir, and you're now broke. That's how the games are lost when you're underleveled. The fix to this, keep your pushes small and efficient. Go with the Hog plus Ice Spirit or Goblin Barrel plus Ice Spirit, and you don't need massive pushes. You just need repeatable pushes that force them to defend over and over until they crack. Number 2, ignoring chip damage. Too many players think, I need to take a whole tower in one big push to win. Wrong. When you're underleveled, chipping out is your best friend. Every log that hits the tower or every fireball that clips even the tower with the miner that sneaks extra 2 swings, that adds up. If you ignore those chances, you're gonna feel like you're behind. The fix to this, treat chip damage as your win condition. Even if you can deal 200 to 300 damage over 6 or 7 times, suddenly that is a lot of damage and the tower is within the spell cycle range. That's how underleveled decks actually win. Number 3, not tracking spells. This is probably one of the worst habits I've seen underleveled players have. Throwing Goblin Barrels, especially when you know they have login cycle, that's just free elixir for them. The fix, start paying attention to their card rotations. When they use their login your princess at the bridge, you now have a 3 card window before it cycles back. That's when you throw your barrel. If you're using Hog, track their bomb tower or mini P.E.K.K.A. or whatever counter they might have to your win condition. You don't need to count every single card, but you need to know when their key card is out of hand, so you can either punish or defend well. Number 4, panicking on defense. A level 15 Mega Knight at the bridge looks terrifying, but panicking makes it a lot worse. Most new players or underleveled players would drop a ton of elixir, which puts them in a bad spot where they have no elixir. The fix, don't panic and stay calm. Focus on stalling and kiting his Mega Knight or P.E.K.K.A. or whatever cards he might have, and try to engage both your arena towers on defense. Now let's cover the top 5 best cards to be using as an underleveled player. At number 5, we got the Knight. This 3 elixir mini tank is one of the most reliable defenders in the game. Even when he's underleveled, his job isn't about doing massive damage. It's about soaking hits, kiting big troops, and giving your towers enough time to help out. Drop him in the middle of the arena to pull things like the P.E.K.K.A., Mega Knight, or even E-Barbs. He's cheap, dependable, and always gets value. Number 4, the Hog Rider. The Hog Rider is one of the most consistent win conditions ever. Even if he's underleveled, he still guarantees chip damage every push, and chip damage is exactly how you beat stronger players. Pair him up with cheap cycle cards like the Ice Spirit, Skeletons, or Zap, and you can outcycle their building or defensive answers. Play smart and don't overcommit. Just keep sending him in and watch those towers just drop. Coming in at number 3, the Inferno Dragon. I know this is not a free-to-play card, but this is probably one of the most valuable cards you could have as an underleveled player. Let's be honest, when you're defending or trying to stop a giant golem or a lava hound, this can feel impossible. But with the Inferno Dragon, it does not matter, even if your card is 1 or 2 levels behind. Its damage ramp-up mechanic melts tanks no matter the level difference. Protect it from reset troops like the Zap or Lightning, and you've instantly raised a 10 elixir push for just 4 elixir. That's some insane value. Coming in at number 2, we got the Zap. This tiny 2 elixir card does way more than people give it credit for. Even if the damage is a little bit weaker, the reset effect is priceless. On top of that, Zap clears out swarms like the Bats or Skeleton Army, and can even get your Hog or Valkyrie to the tower, which is insane. It also resets things like the Inferno Tower, Sparky, and Ram Rider, which helps a ton on defense as well. It's cheap, flexible, and one of the most level independent spells in the game. Finally, coming in at number 1 for the underleveled players is the Valkyrie, dude. If you have the Valkyrie Evo, that's even better, but the regular Valk is actually insane. She's got splash damage, tankiness, counterattack potential all in one. The Valkyrie destroys swarm units like the Goblin Gang, Skeleton Army, and the Barbarians, and she can even shut down support troops behind a tank. And send her across the bridge with cards like the Hog for a very strong counter attack. Even if she's underleveled, she still provides insane value. If you're finding it hard to get past a certain arena and need the best deck in the meta right now, click this video to find out the best decks for each arena, hands down. Bye.